make sure you turn the car on and set the heat up really high and the fan on low. Okay, first thing we're going to do is get under the car and we're going to remove this splash guard that's in the way. And to do that, you're going to use an 8mm, there we go, 8mm socket to remove these bolts. There's one back here, over here. Use your common sense. They're all along the perimeter. If you have a stock airbox, you'll need to remove the intake system. There's a cover part that's over here. There's a lot of these rivets, plastic rivets you have to remove. There's a couple of DIYs. I'll put some links on the channel. I don't have a stock airbox, so I don't have this step to do. You also want to remove the fan shroud. Again, you'll remove this rivet right here, and this should move out of the way, although there is another rivet in place over here holding it, and that should be it. The next thing I did, because I'm going to loosen the temp sensor over here, there's going to be a lot of coolant that comes out of here, so I put some aluminum foil over the alternator, the air conditioning compressor and the belts to protect it from the coolant getting on there. I also just went underneath and put some masking tape to hold it on there. Just remember to take it off before you start the car. You'll want to get some kind of container to catch the coolant. So I use the under tray here as a kind of a general purpose catcher. And then I've got two of these clear plastic containers to catch the rest of the coolant that's coming out. Next, I'll remove the temp sensor. That's accomplished by pressing on the little clip and pulling out. There's the temp sensor. Move it out of the way. Don't let that get wet. And then we're going to remove the actual sensor from the path. We're going to squeeze the little clips on the edges and pull up, and then be prepared for coolant to rain down. What you can do is lift the temp sensor out very slowly. If you lift it out too fast, it will squirt coolant to the other side of the engine bay. So just lift it up very, very slowly and let it just trickle out. You might want to also open up the expansion tank. There we go. Equalize the pressure. Eventually you'll get to the point where you might want to just hold your hand on the temp sensor as you release the air out of the expansion tank, or open the expansion tank. This way you control the amount of spill coming out. And then once you get to a nice steady trickle, you can also go ahead and squeeze that lower radiator hose gently to help evacuate some of the coolant that's in there. Next, I'm going to slowly open the bleed screw. When it comes time to reinstall the temp sensor, dry it really well. I dried it with a leaf blower, and then I used a little electrical connector cleaner on the prongs to clean it, to remove any residual coolant from there. Once you put the temp sensor back in, reconnect the harness. All right. Okay. This way you don't forget later. The next thing you want to do is, hopefully the camera, I'm pointing in the right direction, I'm kind of doing this blindly. You want to take a 13mm socket, and in this area, the camera's kind of hard to get to, in this area on the engine block, you'll feel it right over this, right for the tin foil. Maybe I can put it in there. There we go. Hopefully that should catch it. It's not too blurry. That's the drain plug. You want to put the bolt on there. From under the car, you can easily reach it, loosen it up very slowly, because it's going to gush coolant all over you and everywhere else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the socket on there, loosen it up, and then access it from the top of the car. Hopefully that'll work. Alright, you barely can see it, but right in the middle there, right in the middle over there, above that, I have the socket still attached to the drain plug. Right, and then I'm going to go from the top and loosen it. This way it'll get rained down with coolant. After you've made a gigantic mess with coolant everywhere, because no matter how much you plan, you're going to spill it everywhere, put the drain plug back into the block. You want to make sure that you have a new a new washer, new crush washer for it as well, and then we'll start putting things back. Most likely from underneath the car, you'll want to tighten the block plug to 18 pound-feet if you can fit a torque wrench in there. Now it's time to fill the system. So now we're going to remove the bleed screw completely. Hopefully you've removed all the plumbing that was over here. Okay, and then I'm going to start mixing, adding in my 50-50 mix of BMW brand coolant, not the green stuff, and distilled water. As you start filling the expansion tank, it'll take about 2 gallons before the bleeder valve starts leaking a lot of coolant. So make sure you have your bucket underneath the car. Next, what you want to do is put the bleeder screw back as it starts leaking out. Close this up. Then you're going to want to get in the car, turn the car on, and open up the heat. Before you turn the car on, make sure you remove any tin foil or any protective coatings that you put to protect the coolant from getting all over the place earlier. You don't want that. You don't want that getting messed up. So next, we're just going to put the key in the ignition and turn it on to position 1. And we should hear the coolant pump vibrating, which I do. And now I'm going to open up the bleeder screw. Because we should see that drop down. Right, here it's moving. Here it goes. Next, start the engine and turn the heat on to full blast.